Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming today. We have people may still be coming in, so I'll do a little introduction. My name is Indra Mungal. I work in the education department at the Asian Art Museum. And I am so pleased and proud to be offering virtual programs for our community and beyond. We've got people coming from all over these days, even internationally. So we're thrilled to have you, and very excited for this partnership with San Francisco Zen Center. And if you're not familiar with it, I hope you will visit. We will hear a little bit more about Zen Center today. I would like to do a little introduction of our very special teacher. And excuse me, we have Dr. Lucy Xiao, and Lucy is a Zen priest at San Francisco Zen Center, and she's a doctor of acupuncture and Oriental medicine. She's been practicing Zen for 20 years. Her deep roots in China, where she grew up, combined with Western influences, have expanded the horizons of her practice and the ways she shares the Dharma with others. While she is not sitting in meditation, she is connected with the wider world through teaching mindfulness, and she has a holistic medicine practice. I'm going to put her practice, her website in the window in a couple of minutes. And she also will be teaching this fall at San Francisco Zen Center a class called Healing and the Healer Within. And I'll put a link to that in the chat box as well. And I want to let you know we have two boxes. One is the chat box. You can see at the bottom of your window, and one is the Q&A, question and answer box. There will be time for questions after Lucy has, we have two sitting periods. We'll have anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes for questions, and I'll be pulling those out of both boxes. Be great if you could just put your questions in there, maybe a little towards the end of the session, so we can pull those out easily. I also want you to know that San Francisco Zen Center is offering these meditation sessions for us once a month on Saturday mornings until next June. So we're going to continue with this. Hopefully we'll be on site sometime when the pandemic subsides and allows us. But our next virtual one is September 19th, Saturday, September 19th, from 10:30 to 11:30. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Lucy, and I'll put those links in the window.
So welcome everybody, and good morning. And I'm very happy to be talking about meditation and meditating with you all in this beautiful morning. And so I like to know how many of you are new to meditation, who have never done meditation before. You can probably put in the chat that if you are brand new, and that's great. And then we got quite a few new ones. And are there anybody who are pretty experienced, who have a regular practice and just would like to come and sit with the community or brush up your techniques? So I see most of you are new or just started not long ago. That's wonderful. And you know, San Francisco Zen Center is also called the Beginner's Mind Temple. And to me, when we meditate, we start again with a beginner's mind every time we sit down. And so whether or not you have meditated for 20, 30 years or have never done it, this is a great opportunity for you to sit down and experience this brand new moment with a beginner's mind. And so that I would like to kind of start our session with this message. So we are all beginners, we're all learning. And so I hope we all learn something today. And the kind of meditation we practice at San Francisco Zen Center is kind of a particular style. It's a Zen style in the Soto Zen, or 曹洞宗 in Chinese tradition. But there's a lot of common qualities or common techniques with other traditions too. So you might have learned meditation from a different tradition. So there might be something different here or something the same, similar. And so that's okay, because it's like cooking, it's like food. We cook differently and we make different food, but it's all for satisfying our body and mind. And so when we learn meditation, we learn to work with a few things. Well, at least a few things, but these are the main things we work with. The first is our body. Our body, we tune in to our body and we work with our body. And the second thing is our breath. We tune in to our breath. And the third thing is we tune into our mind. We get to know ourselves, get to know our thinking and feeling patterns and how our mind works. And so these are the things that we work with during meditation. And so, of course, for many people who have very stressful work or life, and also during this pandemic time, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of stress. And so meditation, the first benefit is to help us to relax and calm down and to kind of come back to ourselves. And so, so this is what meditation is for. So the immediate effect you might feel is to have a sense of calm or relaxation. And as you practice more, and we also want you to develop some qualities. And one is concentration, to be able to concentrate and focus. And then the other is awareness, mindfulness. So be mindful, be aware of what's happening inside your body and mind, and also the world around you. And so in meditation, we're actually cultivating these qualities that will help us develop clarity and kindness toward ourselves and others. So, so as I mentioned earlier, we are going to talk about working how to work with body, breath, and mind in meditation. And so I'll start with talking about body, which most important right now to get started is the posture. And so normally when we sit down in meditation, kind of formally, a lot of people like to sit cross-legged, and it's a traditional posture. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to back off a little bit so you can see my full body. So when you sit cross-legged, you put one leg down. Well, first of all, you want some kind of mat or blanket on the floor, so it's not too hard. And so when you cross your leg, you have one leg placed on the mat, and the other one, you put the other foot over the thigh of the opposite leg. And so this is called half lotus. And if you can do that, that would be a more stable posture. And then for some people, they are very flexible. Then they might want to do full lotus, which you cross one side and then you bring the other side up. So that's full lotus, right? But for beginners, half lotus is good. And if your hip and your knees are too tight, you cannot cross like this. You cannot put your foot up on the thigh. Then you can put it lower, or you can even do, let me see if I can show you. This is called Burmese Style. So you put both feet on the floor like that. So Chinese is called sanpan. So you do that. And another way is to cross your leg, kind of, the knees are up, and then you can put pillows or cushions and to support your knees like that. But the other ones that I showed you earlier, either both legs on the floor or half lotus, both knees are actually on the floor. This would give you a steady support for your upper body. So it's like a tripod. And so your sit bone is on a cushion. So I have a small cushion. You can find a cushion that works for you so that your sit bone is sitting on the front part of that cushion, not the back, not the whole cushion, but the front part, so that your lower back has a slight arch. So you don't want to overarch. You don't want to overarch like this. You don't want to be stiff like this. There's a slight arch on your lower back. Okay, so if you don't sit cross-legged, if this is hard for you, or even putting your legs on the floor are hard for you, you can sit in a chair. And in a chair, the idea is similar. You want to have a stable position. So you sit on the front of the chair, the front edge of the chair, and then your feet are on the floor. And your knees are either level or slightly below your hips, so that this area, your hip, the front of your body is open. Okay, so this is the how to choose your sitting posture. And so right now I'm sitting in cross-legged position, and the rest of the points apply to either cross-legged or sitting in chair. And so the first thing after you find your posture or how to put your legs, the first thing you want to check is your spine. So you want to straighten your spine. You feel it from the ground up. So from the bottom up. So your spine lengthens and raises up. And the back of your neck is just like a continuation of your spine. And so the back of your neck is flat. And the back of your head and all the way to the crown is like being lifted upward. And so your head is just kind of sitting on top of your shoulders, which are over on the same plane as your torso. So you don't want to hunch. You don't want to put your head and chin in front of your body. You want to sit straight. And so having this posture, you are upright. You have, you carry energy in your spine upward. At the same time, your shoulders and your arms are relaxed. So the shoulders and arms are kind of relaxed and they are just kind of by the side of your body. And your hands form like an oval mudra, like this. So one hand, your left hand on top of the right hand, and thumb tips slightly touching, not squeezing, but just gently touching. So there's a little oval sign. And so you place this sign below your navel. And that's called dantian in Chinese or hara. And that's the kind of the energy center of your body. So you place this mudra, this hand position, gently, naturally, it just rests there, and relax your arms. Okay, and have some space between your arms and your body so air can flow through. Some people describe it as like holding an egg under your armpit. So there's some space under your armpit. Okay, and then your eyes are in Zen. We meditate with the eyes slightly open, gazing downward, like at 45 degrees. And in the beginning, if you like to close your eyes, that's also okay. But sometimes you can close your eyes. Sometimes you can open your eyes slightly. And your tongue touches, just rest in your mouth, and tongue tips touching the upper palate. So you don't clench, you just let your mouth and your tongue completely relax. Okay, and so that's the general meditation posture. And once you have found this posture, then you want to find your breath. In the beginning, you can kind of intentionally breathe a few deep breaths. And the way to do it, one of the ways you can do it is to push your diaphragm up to squeeze the air out of your lungs, and then breathe in naturally, let the air come in naturally. So squeeze the air out by pushing the diaphragm up. So the abdomen goes in, diaphragm goes up when you breathe out. And when you breathe in, you let the air come in naturally. You don't force anything. So you can do this 3, 4, 5 times in the beginning when you sit down. And And so that way you can kind of find your breath. And after you've done it several times, you just let your body breathe naturally. So as we know, breathing is probably the most important activity for our life. When we are alive, we breathe. When we don't breathe, we are no longer alive. And so breathing is the most natural thing that we do, and also the one thing that we often forget. So especially when we are working in front of the computer, when we're thinking, we often forget our breath, and we kind of hold our breath and we breathe very shallow. And that's not so good for the whole body's circulation. And so in meditation, we try to pay attention to our breath. We're not controlling the breath. We are just paying attention, noticing our breath, that we are breathing. And so after you sit down, check your posture, check your breath, you start to just breathe naturally. And if you can just allow your mind to rest on the breathing. Allow your mind, your awareness to rest on the breathing itself. So this can be, you might feel your breath at the nose tip, in the nostril, or the upper lip, or you can feel your breath or the movement of breathing in your abdomen, like the rising and falling of the abdomen. You might feel it in your chest. And it's okay. So wherever you notice your breathing, you can just rest your awareness there and allow it to stay there. And sometimes bodily sensation will come up, like, if you don't sit down and be quiet, you don't feel certain sensations. Now that you sit down, you might feel tightness here, you might feel like a little tingling, a little kind of painful spot somewhere in the body. And so you just notice it. And you don't need to do anything. So just remember, in meditation, what we are doing is non-doing, if that makes sense. So we just sit here and watch and notice. And we notice our body, notice our breath. And if thoughts and feelings come up, we notice them, and then we come back to our breath or to our posture. So the body and the breath is they are anchor for meditation. So whatever happens, you come back to either your breaths or your posture. Okay, so so that's enough talking for the moment. Let's do a little 10-minute sit. Okay, I'm going to ring a bell. So you find your posture, whether you want to sit cross-legged on the floor or you want to sit in a chair, that's fine. And I'm going to ring the bell 3 times to begin, and then we'll sit for 10 minutes, and I'll ring twice to finish. And during the 10 minutes, I may guide you through a few things to help you to settle. And then we will finish, and then stretch a little bit, and then we'll do another 10-minute session, which will be silent. Okay? So, so find your posture and let your spine be straight and upright and long. Just like a tree, your spine is like the trunk of the tree that comes out of the ground, that's rooted in the ground and grows toward the sky. And your shoulders and arms and muscles and tendons, the rest of your body, they are like the branches of the tree. And they just gently hang from the trunk. Like a redwood tree. And take a few deep breaths. Now breathe, focus on the out breath. So breathe out with the diaphragm pushing up, let the air out, and allow the air come in, breathe in naturally. And push your diaphragm up, breathe out completely, and let the air come in naturally. And do this for a few times. And then let your breath just take over by itself. Don't do anything after this. If you want to let out a sigh, go ahead and do it. And we can start by closing your eyes for a few minutes. And soften your face. Soften the eye socket, eyeballs. Allow your eyes sit back in the eye socket. And relax your eyebrows, your forehead, and the temple area. Relax your chin, your face, your jaw. And feel the space behind your nose. And relax the back of your nose, the back of your throat, your neck, and soften the muscles around your neck and drop your shoulders and let your arms just hang from your shoulders and your hands just rest on your lap. Open up the front of your body. Let your chest be wide and let your abdomen be soft. Soft belly, soft breath. And notice where you feel your breath in the body, where it feels most prominent, and rest your awareness there. Gently breathe in and gently breathe out through your nose. If you feel tension or a little sensation in a certain part of your body, just notice it and let it be softened up. And when your breath have become a little more steady, stable, you can slightly open your eyes and let your eyes just look down without focusing anything. So your gaze is like 40 degrees, 45 degrees downward on the floor, but a very soft and non-focused gaze. And you continue to breathe. So when you're ready, you can breathe out 3 deep, long breaths. And open your eyes. I'm going to come forward a little bit. So that was our first little meditation session. And I hope that was not too hard for you. Let me adjust this. And so now we sit down, work on our breath, our posture, and then try to rest our attention on the breath. And what happens if you all of a sudden you think of something, your mind goes somewhere else, or you hear something, or you start to feel some emotions. And that's all okay. So when we meditate, whatever happens is okay. And if your meditation, if what you're trying to do is to follow your breath, then whatever happens, you let it happen, let it come and go. Don't follow it, and then just come back to your breath. And whatever thought, story comes up, you notice it, and don't follow the story to all the way to the end. And as soon as you notice it, come back to your breath. And it helps to adjust your posture, because oftentimes when we start thinking, our posture just kind of go out of alignment. So we come back to a posture, check our posture, and check our breath, and that's a good place to come back to. So meditation is coming back to our breath, coming back to our body, coming back to ourselves again and again, and coming back to this present moment again and again. And this present moment is where we are right now, is sitting. And so we come back to our breath. That's kind of like the foundation, and that helps us to cultivate concentration and mindfulness. And when we have a good foundation for concentration and mindfulness, another style of meditation is to open up all your sense doors and just be aware of whatever happens. So if sounds happen, you just let sound come in and go out or go away. And if story happens, if emotions happen, you let them come in and pass. And then you are ready for the next moment, and the whatever comes to your awareness, the sensory field. And so this is a kind of a more kind of open awareness meditation. And so it's kind of two sides of the same coin. So on the one hand, we develop concentration by focusing on the object, something like your breath. On the other hand, we cultivate mindfulness and awareness and allow ourselves be open to whatever happens. And so So this kind of quality of our mind and body that we develop through meditation is very useful for everyday life situation. And so we can carry this skill to walking, to cooking, doing your laundry, to work. So you develop concentration and you also develop openness and receptivity. Okay, and so let's start our session 2, and this is going to be a silent session. And so I'll ring 3 bells, and then to start, and then 2 bells to stop. Okay. Thank you. How was the second session? How did it go comparing to the first one? How was it any different? And oh, I see a question. Can you lay down instead of sitting? And generally speaking, unless you have a back problem, for your regular meditation, you want to sit up because the energy, the qi, flows differently. And lying down is kind of a resting position, and it's easy to fall asleep. And so for your regular practice, I suggest that you sit up. But if you have a back problem, then of course you can lie down with like a large pillow under your knees so that your lower back is more relaxed. And then with a small, thin pillow or without the pillow for your neck. And of course you can do sleeping or lying down meditation before bedtime and to just relax yourself. And that would work. You just, you still follow your body sensation or your breath, but you are not trying to hold your spine straight. Okay, so Indra, hi Indra. So,
I don't see other questions. We do have a few minutes for questions if people would like to put that either in the Q&A box or in the chat. And that was a great session, those two sits. Thank you. Oh,
thank you. Yes.
Is it okay to use a wall to support your back?
Generally speaking, no. You want to sit upright, but you don't tense your back. So when you are able to sit upright and relax in a relaxed way, you don't need support because your spine is your best support. But if you, like I said, if you have back problems, you have an injury, then yes, you can put like a pillow behind you and then use a little support. But that's only for when you can't sit upright.
There's a lot of questions about posture. So one person wants to know about, they need to stretch a few times. They'd like to know about that. And then also with that, someone asked, what if your knees hurt when you sit cross-legged?
So stretching is a great tool, a great practice before and after meditation. And it helps you to be more flexible and helps your circulation. So yes, great. Do your stretching before and after as if you are going for a run. And when, of course, in the beginning, when you're not so flexible because your joints and muscles and ligaments are not used to in this position, right? So it gets tense after a little while. Maybe it will start to hurt because the circulation is not flowing in that area, and that's okay. And the more you practice, the more you will be able to sit. But start with a short time and do your stretching to open up your hips. And your knee pain may be coming from your knee joints, maybe coming from your hips, and maybe coming from, maybe your cushion is not the ideal height. So you have to look into all those things. But if it gets too painful, you have to move, that's fine. You just get out of your posture very slowly with care, and then be mindful of all your movement, because the intention is to develop mindfulness. The intention is not like having a sitting Olympic, So when you have to move, you just move slowly and gently. And in the meantime, you are aware what you're doing. Okay.
Thank you. One person wanted to know where to put your tongue in order to be relaxed.
Yes. So your tongue is relaxed, and the tongue tip, well, it's behind your teeth, of course. Your tongue tip kind of touching the upper palate. So your whole mouth is relaxed, and then naturally, you're gonna feel the tongue touching the upper palate. You feel that? Okay.
Thank you. Someone would like to know if they can use this when they wake up at night and can't fall back to sleep. And I think you kind of addressed that a few minutes ago, but would you speak more to that?
So if you can't fall back asleep, you just kind of get up and sit meditation. And so allow your mind to kind of settle into your body and breath. And do it for a while. And maybe when your nervous system calm down, because when you can't fall asleep, it's your nervous system is like, can't quiet down. So meditation help you to kind of quiet down the nervous system. And of course, there are many different ways to meditate. So some people might get very energized to after meditation. So just try that and see how it works for you.
I'm going to try it tonight. One person would like to hear more about not finishing the story. If you could say more about that.
Not following, not
finishing
the story. Well, so when a thought happens, in our habit there's a storyline. Then we just kind of hook onto the storyline, and then you just finish the story. Normally, without the mind, without training, works like that. You finish the story, but mindfulness, when in meditation, all you need to do is to be aware, to be mindful of what happens. So a thought happens, it's a thought. You don't even need to know the content. You just know there's a thought, there's a feeling, there's a sound you hear, there's a sensation in the body. So all our sense doors receive information from the world. And the mind is like a sense door. It is a sense door in Buddha's teaching. So the mind also can receive messages from its own kind of own history, own memory. And so when you receive that message, that information, it's like hearing a sound. You just notice, oh, there's a sound. And you don't trace the sound, right? When a sound happens, when a car drives by, you don't go out and run after the car, right? So same, when a story happens, you just notice, there's a story. And then if you don't give it feel, if you don't give it, oh, I love it, or I hate this, that's the feel. So if you don't give it feel, it will go away by itself. Okay?
Great, thank you, very helpful. Just a few more questions. I know we're going a little over time, but one person would like to know the meaning of the ringing the bell. What that means.
Well, the sound of the bell, as you listen to the sound of the bell, what do you hear? And so it catches our attention, first of all, and so brings our mind to the present moment. And the sound of the bell is also very settling. well, I mean, there are many different kind of sounds, many different kinds of bells. And it just, it kind of, it's like it marks the beginning of the session. It just tells us, okay, it's time to sit down and be quiet.
Lovely. Well, how about we'll take two more. How often should we practice at first?
At first, as a beginner, you want to practice as often as you can. Ideally daily, once or twice. You don't have to practice long. You just practice these like mini sessions, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like in the morning, in the afternoon. One session is fine if that's all you can do. But I would suggest for beginners, you want to have bite-sized meditation. So you have a little bite in the morning, a little bite in the evening, and that will give you more appetite. So you don't want to overstuff yourself, and then even if it's good food and you say, oh, that's awful. So if in the beginning you just want to sit for an hour, and then you hurt so much, and oh, this is not for me. So I would say at least once, if you can do twice, but short in the beginning. Naturally, when you are ready, when your body is ready, then naturally you want to sit longer. At that time, you just sit longer, and you can sit a longer session for like half an hour, 1 hour, instead of like these little mini bites, or you can keep the mini sessions. Everybody's different. Okay.
That may answer the last question. I think the last question we'll have is someone who fidgets a lot, and any helpful tips. So I feel like you've talked about some techniques. I don't know if that'll help this person, or if you have specific things for people who fidget, move around a lot, or need to move, which I'm one of those.
So when your body like to move around, it's the energy inside your body. There's energy inside your body that needs to come out. And so you have to find ways for that energy to come out, but maybe not during meditation. So maybe before and after meditation, you go do some physical activities, exercises. So let that really get expressed. And when you sit down in meditation, if you need to fidget a lot, could be there's some kind of unsettled energy inside your body. It could be your posture is not relaxed enough. So check your posture and make sure you sit comfortably. And then if you still can't sit quietly, then do walking meditation. Because sitting is not for everybody. For some people, walking meditation works for them better in the beginning. So you can, hopefully in the future, we can talk about walking meditation. So yes, you can do walking meditation or yoga or Tai Chi.
Great suggestions. Oh my gosh. That's very helpful for me as well. Thank you. I've just posted again Lucy's website with her holistic healing site, and then her fall class at Zen Center coming up, the Healing the Healer Within. And oh, this was great. And thank you all to everyone who showed up today. It starts our weekend off beautifully. We really appreciate it, Lucy.
Well, thank you, Indra, and thank you to everybody who come to practice with me this morning.
Yes, thank you all.